Katrina, and today I have a book haul. I love books, I buy books, I'm not ashamed of it. These are the ones I bought in March. I'm going to get the duplicate copies out of the way, so these are books I've read before. All three of them are by Jane Austen, and these are the only three copies I didn't have in the Vintage Classics editions. I've read them all previously and have a variety of different editions of Jane Austen books. However, I wanted to unite my collection all in one edition, get rid of all the multiples and just have this one. So the first is Sense and Sensibility. This, Pride and Prejudice and Northanger Abbey are my three favourite, or the top three Jane Austen books. This is pretty much tied with Pride and Prejudice for me. This follows two sisters who, after their father dies, they have extremely reduced circumstances. They go live in this tiny little house with their younger sister and their mother. They fall in love and out of love. There's a variety of tragic circumstances, but also a lot of fun and wit. Classic Jane Austen. Love these editions so much. This one has the French flaps corresponding to Pride and Prejudice on the inside. Next up we have Emma. This isn't a favourite of mine. Some people really love Emma. This follows our main character, Emma Woodhouse, who believes her purpose in life is to be a matchmaker. She's definitely the most privileged and wealthy of Jane Austen's heroines. There is a lot of wit in this one, but it just doesn't quite gel with me as much as some of the others. This is set in the one small village. She tries to pair up one of her friends and there's a whole lot of ridiculous situations that go on from there. This actually has spawned some of my favourite adaptations, however. The first of all being Clueless. Clueless is an adaptation of Emma and I love that movie so much. It's so hilarious. And I also really enjoy Emma Approved, which was made by Pemberley Digital, and that's here on YouTube. This is a really nice edition as well, and the inside matches with Northanger Abbey. Okay, and the last of the Jane Austen books I bought was Mansfield Park. This is another one I really enjoy. This is the second Jane Austen I ever read after Pride and Prejudice, and I think it's the first one I read and actually understood it, because when I first read Pride and Prejudice, I don't think I 100% knew exactly what was going on the whole time. This, in contrast to Emma, is definitely the poorest protagonist of any Jane Austen book. This follows Fanny Price, who lives with her uncle and aunt who are much more wealthy than she is, and she's caught in kind of a strange social situation because she's definitely below the family she's living with, but she's related to them, so she is above the servants, and she's educated like a very wealthy lady, but she isn't. This one has a lot of scandal in it, and quite a few moral questions as well. Really enjoy it, and the inside of this one is corresponding to the one for Persuasion. So again, very beautiful. Also by Vintage Classics, I got The Master and the Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov, and this edition is translated by Michael Glennie. This is one of the new Vintage Classics Russian editions, which I think are just stunning. I have the Anna Karenina and also the War and Peace in these editions. The Master and the Margarita is a modern classic of Russian fiction written during the time of Stalin. I've heard it's very absurdist and strange. It's quite short, and I'm really excited to see what it's all about because I really don't know much about it at all, which I think will be a lot of fun to go into this quite blind. This is, again, so beautiful. Vintage are just knocking it out of the park recently, honestly, it's great. So sticking with the Russian theme, I have And Quiet Flows the Dawn by Mikhail Solokov. This is a Russian classic which has recently been republished by Penguin Modern Classics, and I actually heard about this, kind of old school, in the newspaper. My dad gets the Sunday Times and he said, this sounds like a kind of book you would like, and he gave me a newspaper article about this book, and I read the article and it does sound like something I would like. This follows the Cossack people, which is an ethnic group, I believe, in the Russia-Ukraine borderlands with a huge amount of history. They've been involved in many wars through Russia, Ukraine. I'm actually reading non-fiction right now about the Romanovs, and the Cossacks are mentioned several times. Right now I'm reading about Peter the Great and his war with the Swedes, and the Cossacks were involved with that. And this follows their history. The 4 sections are Peace, War, Revolution and Civil War, so that'll give you an idea. But it's a fiction book. I've heard absolutely amazing things. It's very highly rated and reviewed, and this was published between 1928 and 1940, so again another sort of modern Russian classic which I'm really interested to read. My last Russian purchase also bridges into another little subset of books I bought, and I bought 3 of the Penguin Great Ideas books. I believe there are 60 of these out right now. And the first one I picked up is Confession by Leo Tolstoy, and this is a non-fiction sort of essay that Leo Tolstoy produced on his own religious faith, his own thoughts and feelings. He was really into that sort of thing towards the end of his life. His works become more and more philosophical the older he gets. Apparently this led to him being excommunicated, so I'm expecting something quite thought-provoking from this. The other two I also expect to be very thought-provoking, and I'll go in order of publication, I guess. And the first is A Vindication on the Rights of Women by Mary Wollstonecraft. Mary Wollstonecraft is the mother of Mary Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein, and I loved. She had quite the scandalous life at the time, and this is an essay of hers on the rights of women, very sort of feminist manifesto, I believe. First published in 1792, so very, very revolutionary for the time. And as almost a follow-on from that, I have A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. This is a book I've been wanting to pick up for a good while, but I wasn't sure what edition I wanted to get it in, etc, etc. But I thought this would be really nice to have matching the Mary Wollstonecraft book. This, again, is a feminist essay published in 1928 on why women and men have traditionally not been able to achieve the same things in life. And its most famous line is on the front, and it's, "A woman must have money and a room of her own if she is to write." So I really actually like to read those back to back and see how, I mean, the evolution of ideas in the 200 years between them must be massive, so it'll be really interesting to read them back to back. Next, I have a feminist piece of science fiction, and that is We Who Are About To by Joanna Russ. I read The Female Man by Joanna Russ a year ago, maybe a year and a half, and really enjoyed it, totally blew my mind. This is, I think, one of the most beautiful books I've ever seen in my life, very, very striking. This is part of the Penguin Worlds series. And this follows a group of scientists who I believe are stranded in some way on an alien land or a different planet, and the decision is made that they must repopulate and try and make it some sort of colony, some sort of human colony. However, one of the female scientists refuses, and it's seen as a huge betrayal of the human race that she's refusing to have children. This is less than 120 pages long, so very, very short, but I think a lot of really interesting ideas are going to be explored in this. The last novel I have to share with you all is Half of a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I read Purple Hibiscus earlier this year, and it's one of my all-time favourite books now. I really, really loved it, so I can't wait to pick up another one of her novels, though I'm kind of wary because she only has 4 novels, so I don't want to like rush them all and read them all too quickly and then not have any more novels by her to read. This is set in 1960s Nigeria during the Civil War. I believe there are 2 Nigerian main characters and also an English man. Follows their 3 lives as they intersect throughout the horrors of the war. Ngozi Adichie has been in the news recently quite a lot. Actually, this happened after I bought this book, in full disclosure, but after saying some things about the rights of trans women, which I don't necessarily agree about, which makes me kind of sad, but nevertheless, I am excited to read more of her work. Last, I have 2 works of poetry, the first being Let Them Eat Chaos by Kate Tempest. I read Hold Your Own last year, probably June or July time, and really enjoyed it, which sparked off my interest in reading more poetry. I believe this one is actually designed to be read aloud. It actually says in the first couple of pages, it says on like the 3rd page, this poem is written to be read aloud. So I don't know, maybe one day when none of my flatmates are home, I'll just get a bath and read this aloud to myself. I don't know. Whereas Hold Your Own was a collection of poems, this is one long form poem designed for live performance. I think I might just look this up on YouTube or something to try and see a performance of it. I believe this is set in London, and there's 7 neighbours who don't know one another, and then they're forced to confront one another, and it's about alienation in modern society, I think. I don't know that much about it, but that's how I'd like to go into it blind, not knowing much more than that. And last but not least, we have The Princess Saves Herself in this one by Amanda Lovelace. This, if you're thinking, that looks familiar, it's by the same publishers as Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur, so it does look very similar to that. It's by Andrews McMeel Publishing, and it says in the back, the story of a princess turned damsel turned queen. I'm really interested to read this one. Meryl over at A Blackbird's Books raves about this, and I really trust her opinion, so I'm interested to pick it up. The inside is similar in a lot of ways to Milk and Honey. It's a lot of shorter poems, not too many words on the page, but I'm really, really excited to pick it up. And I believe this is actually dedicated to Harry Potter. Tell me if I'm crazy, but the dedication reads, for the boy who lived, thank you for inspiring me to be the girl who survived. You may have a lightning bolt to show for it, but my body is a lightning storm, and it has a little lightning bolt. I mean, that's quite explicitly Harry Potter, I think. I just realised that, and that's kind of blown my mind because I did a video recently about how much I love Harry Potter. I feel like probably quite similar to the author in a lot of ways. There you go. So there we have it. That's my March book haul. Subscribe to see more videos from me and see how I get on with this pile and all the other books I own and love / haven't read yet. You can also follow me on Goodreads and Instagram and Twitter, all of which are linked below. Thanks for watching. Bye.